For the first 12 years of my life, no way to sugarcoat it, I grew up in a very demonic home. So everything that I share with you guys is my spiritual journey, what it was like growing up in that home. And there's one question that consistently keeps coming up. It's a pretty obvious one, but one I've kind of been avoiding. This entity that lived in the house that I grew up in, he used to speak to me. Hey you guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Amanda. And honestly, I'm just gonna cut to the chase. For the first 12 years of my life, the house that I grew up in was extremely haunted. So haunted, it got to the point that it was violent enough, it chased my family out of the home. We moved out. We ended up renting, and I've been afraid to talk about it since. And in 2019, I posted a TikTok talking about my experience. I knew at that point that I wasn't the only one who saw the things that I did and who experienced the hauntings like I did, that somebody else out there has to be going through it or know about what I went through. And so that's basically my entire journey and what this channel is going to be about. If you haven't seen my very first video, it was a long one, but I sat down for over an hour with my entire family and we just had a family talk. We recounted the horrific hauntings that we endured in that house. We talked about the craziest stories that we remember, the routes that we took to get rid of these things, and what worked and what didn't. And it was really an in-depth, the first in-depth conversation about that house that we've had since we left it. With that video came a lot of the same questions. I was haunted by a very specific entity. It called itself Jay. And the most common question I get about Jay is, what did he look like? And it's a question that I've kind of been avoiding because it was, I don't want to say traumatizing, but it was a traumatizing time in my life. And that's why for 10 years after moving out, I didn't want to talk about it like this. But I'm 22. I know that I'm safe. And I think that it's time that I share with you guys what I dealt with growing up. So get ready. Another reason that I've held back on talking about this is when I describe the hauntings I endured and the physical things, the cupboards opening and the cups being thrown at me, the scratch marks down my back, the mirrors getting tossed at my brother as he was blessing our home with holy water. I mean, I could go on, but that's for an entirely different video. You kind of would imagine that this demonic entity would take on a pretty terrifying form. And sometimes he did. But to be completely honest with you guys, and you might find this a little disappointing, but I'm gonna be honest, Jay presented himself as, you guys have all heard of a shadow man or a shadow figure. A lot of the time, that's what Jay looked like to me. And that's what he presented himself as. He wasn't crazy tall, it wasn't like Slenderman-esque with the long skinny fingers. It wasn't what you would imagine a demon tormenting you would look like. Sometimes it was, but for the most part, when I saw Jay, he was a thick, solid shadow, as solid as you or I would be, not misty or see-through. He was a solid black figure. He was about average height, I'd say 6'1", 6 foot. Nothing crazy. He could fit under the doorways in our house. He wasn't massive, he wasn't skinny, he was a normal sized, normal looking outline of a man. And I think more so than what he looked like being terrifying, it was the way that he made me feel. It was the things that he would say. It was the things that he would do. He would throw things at me. He would constantly berate me. I mean, he would pick times where I was vulnerable and I would be scared no matter what. and he would take advantage of those times. Like at night, it's dark. Everyone's a little more nervous at night than they are in the day. The night times were so bad for me. I used to have panic attacks. I was diagnosed with chronic bronchitis, which I didn't have because they couldn't figure out why at night, and I was a calm person, but why at night I could not breathe. I could not sleep alone. I would sob and sob. So more so than the way this demon looked, it was the things that he would say, the things that he would do, and the way that he made me feel that was so tormenting, and that's what's haunted me to this day. But I do want to say, in the beginning, you probably caught on, I said he didn't always look scary. There were times when I'm literally sweating when I talk about it, and it's 12 years later. There's one time in particular, and Tyler and I talked about this, that he would morph himself to look different, and it might not be something like you would imagine, but the one that stood out to me the most was I was afraid to go in the house one day, and my mom had already gone in, my brother had already gone in, and Jay, this demon Jay, was standing in our garage. And you know how garages have the garage door and usually some windows at the top? I'll like insert a picture here. Well, the way our house was, and I think the way most houses are, you're not able to see through those garage windows unless you're standing on something. They're taller than people actually are. But when we pulled into the driveway, clear as day, I could see Jay, the black outline of his face, and his eyes slanted down like this. Kind of like, if that makes sense, looking down at me. And it sounds so weird to say, literally felt as if he was burning a hole through me. I was petrified, so scared that I could not move and get out of the car. My mom, who was at her wit's end, understandably, said I can't just wait in the car. And so she got up and went into the house, and I was left alone in there with just me and Jay. And it wasn't until Tyler came out and got me that I was able to go into the house, but that's just one of those instances where he didn't always just look like a shadow figure. But to answer your guys' question, that is usually how he presented himself to me. And since I posted that video, I really feel that he might be back. So I hope that answers your guys' question on what Jay looks like. I hope it's not a letdown because, like I said, it wasn't like you see in the movies. It's not like the nun, the white face, and he didn't look scary, but the way that he made me feel and the things that he said to me was the most haunting thing about that demonic entity. So, on that note, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I didn't. I'm literally sweating. Like, not even gonna lie. It is 10 years since I've been out of that house, and it is something that affected me so much that even talking about it like this, I feel a weight on my chest. And it feels good to get out because it was something that was in the closet for so long for me. And I am so grateful that you guys care about my story and want to listen. And I'm so grateful that I'm able to share it with you because at one point in my life, I couldn't talk about it like this. Like, I feel that I'm taking my power back, and I'm so grateful for you guys for following along on my journey, asking me these questions, allowing me to share them with you. And other than that, I mean, if you enjoyed this video, definitely hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. I don't know where it is, why I'm pointing there. So look for that. But thank you so much again for tuning in, allowing me to share this stuff with you. And if you did enjoy this video, if you want to see more, if you have questions, go down below, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, comment anything you want to know. It's so freeing talking about this, and I'm so grateful you guys are willing to listen. Other than that, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.